Back in 2000, I was just coming off of drugs and alcohol, and my parole officer sent me here to the Salvation Army. And at first, I thought it was gonna be pure insane. Here again, I've got some other people telling me when to get up, when to go to sleep, what not to do. And it turned out to be fantastic for me. Matter of fact, I met my husband here. And my husband was staying here at Salvation Army in the men's lodge. And we started going into NA groups and AA groups. And actually, if it hadn't have been for the Salvation Army and my husband, I don't know where I'd be right now. I was shooting cocaine and heroin. I started that at the age of 15. And then that led me on to the life of selling my body and stealing and breaking into other people's houses. And I went to the penitentiary. And after I went to the penitentiary the first time, I didn't learn. The third time, I didn't learn. It was just after the fourth time, I was just so tired of all the craziness of sleeping with different men and breaking in people's houses and stealing people's money. I just said, Lord, help me. But I just didn't know how much the Lord was going to help me. I went to my parole officer and I told her, I said, ma'am, I need some help. And I need some help now, because if I don't get any help, I'm going to die in the penitentiary. And I didn't want to die there. I wanted to live like other people were living, but I just didn't know how, or I couldn't. I don't know. But my parole officer sent me to DARS, which is Texas Rehabilitation, and they sent me here. And that's when I met my counselor, Ms. Beverly Slaughter, and she's still here at the Salvation Army. When you do drugs for 35 years, it's hard to know any other way. I didn't think any other way existed. I didn't know how to talk to God. I didn't know that the whole time I was being raped or shot at or beat up. I didn't know God was watching over me. I didn't think anybody was watching over me. If it had not been for the structure of the Salvation Army and people telling me that I'm worthy of something, that God is not mad at me, I don't think I'd be living right now. I've been clean now for 5 years while I was here at the Salvation Army. It gave me a chance to really get to know me, and not the addict, and not the alcoholic or the prostitute, but me. And if I tell you that is a hard lesson, when you have to look at yourself in the mirror every morning and say, you are loved. You are loved. And then the tears start rolling down your face, because that's when you start to really believe, well, I am worthy to be loved. Well, I am loved. But it has taken me, and sometimes it still does, makes it hard for me to believe that a person would love me for me because of my past. I never knew that the Salvation Army existed. That's how crazy my life was. And then when I got here, they helped me with clothes. They helped me with shoes, because I didn't have anything at all. Salvation Army provided me with shoes, clothes, underclothes, toothpaste, toothbrushes, everything to get started. That's how I got my life started, was here through the Salvation Army. And it has been a glorious thing for me anyway. I mean, some people think, because I always talk about the Salvation Army, Salvation Army. Well, if it hadn't have been for the Salvation Army, Debra would probably be dead. And so when I got out, my family wouldn't have anything to do with me. So here I was, stuck again on the streets with nowhere to go and nothing to do. So I went and got high that day. Went to my parole officer and told her, I said, Ms. Walker, if you don't help me, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die in prison. And that's always been my fear. Always been my fear of dying in prison. So she sent me here. Ms. Walker sent me here to Salvation Army. And my counselor, Beverly Slaughter here at Salvation Army, was over the program. So I just went and told her one day, I say, what God do you serve? Because the God that you say was protecting me, I've never seen him. She says, she looked at me and she says, well, you're here now, aren't you? I said, all right. I said, but you got to tell me more than that. You got to tell me more than that. Okay, so then she's a very serious person. She says, okay, well, what about the time the man beat you up? Do you think God was there then? So that's when the tears start rolling. Because it finally hit home. Well, yeah, he was there the whole time. God was there the whole time, but I just never knew that it was God that was protecting me through all these steps, through all the prostitution, through all the people beating me up, or just throwing me out, or even the times I had to take baths in other people's backyards. When women on the streets don't have a place to bathe, when they can't comb their hair, when they can't brush their teeth, put on clean underclothes, you have no sense of worth. No sense of worth. I had to make sure, Salvation Army told me I had to make sure that I had at least $1,000 in the bank, which I did. Then the Salvation Army turned around and helped me get into these apartments because I'd never had anything in my name before. And then again, Salvation Army, through one of the employees, helped me get a car. I'd never had a car. So it's like all my first everything, first bank account, first apartment, first car, all started here at the Salvation Army. Even like when I got my apartment, okay, I didn't have any furniture. Salvation Army helped me with the furniture. They helped me with the dishes. They helped me with clothes. I mean, my whole first was right here at the Salvation Army. They even have a closet here for women that want to go on interviews. They have a lady here that helps them with here at the Salvation Army, that helps them with their resumes. If I had not come to the Salvation Army, I would be dead or spending a whole lot of time in prison. If it had not been, sir, for the Salvation Army, I'd truly be lost. I'd truly be lost.